welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really digging into something quite compelling. It's the story of the global customer relationship management market, CRM.
That's right.
And what makes this exciting is we're basing this whole conversation purely on some really robust data from cognitive market research. We want to unpack what these numbers are telling us about, well, innovation, demand, and this huge digital transformation happening.
Exactly. The numbers tell a fascinating story.
Let's just jump right in with those headline figures then, because honestly, they're pretty staggering. We're talking about a market valued at just over $60 billion back in 2021.
60.36 billion, yeah.
And the projection, it's set to surge to nearly $280 billion by 2033.
To 79.29 billion, to be precise. It's incredible.
That's a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of over 13.6%. So the big question for you listening is, what on earth could drive that kind of explosive growth? More than quadrupling.
Well, that really is the core question, isn't it? And it's not just a number on a page. It really reflects these profound shifts in how businesses everywhere are operating now.
Okay.
We're seeing the impact of major tech advancements, a much stronger focus on the customer experience, and just this relentless push towards digital transformation across almost every sector.
Right.
Understanding this data, I think, is pretty fundamental if you want to grasp the modern business landscape and really how companies are trying to connect with all of us.
Absolutely. And, while that global number is striking, I find digging into the regions even more revealing. You start to see these distinct patterns, different speeds of growth, hotspots, really.
Definitely. It paints a much richer picture.
So let's maybe explore this region by region.
Sounds good. And it helps to keep that overall growth rate in mind, that global picture as we zoom in. The whole market is heading towards that nearly 280 billion mark by 2033.
Right, a good baseline.
So we can see how different areas stack up against that.
Okay, let's kick off with North America. It's always been a powerhouse in CRM, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
And it looks like it's staying that way, with some pretty significant growth still projected.
Yeah, North America's CRM revenue was around, $20 billion in 2021?
20.28 billion, yeah.
Right, and that's projected to climb to nearly 90 billion by 2033. 89.65 billion, with a solid CAGR just over 13%.
13.185%. Still very strong.
Very strong indeed.
And within North America, no surprise, the U.S. is the big one. It's set to grow from over 16 billion in 2021 to more than 70 billion by 2033.
70.287 billion, yeah. A huge chunk of the regional market.
But what about elsewhere in the region?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. You look at Canada, for example, its CAGR is actually higher, approaching 15%.
14.84%, so
Yeah.
faster growth in the U.S.
Exactly, which suggests maybe a particularly aggressive adoption phase, perhaps driven by its tech sector or, specific industry needs up there. And Mexico, while starting smaller, still shows steady double-digit growth too, around 11.675% CAGR.
Interesting. So even within a region like North America, you see these different paces. Makes you wonder about the specific drivers, like cloud adoption rates or maybe regulations.
Or even specific industry investments, yeah. It's not monolithic.
Good point. Okay, let's pivot over to Europe, another really established market, but also showing, pretty substantial growth, according to this data.
Yes, Europe's expansion is very clear. It started out around 16.5 billion in 2021.
16.478 billion.
And it's projected to hit nearly 72 billion by 2033. That maintains a strong CAGR too, just over 13%.
13.046. Very close to North America's overall rate.
Pretty close, yeah.
And if you look inside Europe, you see the big economies, Germany, the UK, France, leading in terms of sheer market size, all projected well over 10 billion each by 2033.
Germany heading towards 13.2 billion, UK over 10, France over 10.6. Makes sense. But again, if you dig a bit deeper, it's some of the other countries showing even higher growth rates that offer a fascinating glimpse. Look at Italy, Russia, Spain.
Right.
They're all growing faster than the European average. KGR is getting close to 14% or even higher. Russia's at 14.2%. Spain, nearly 14. Italy, 13.6.
So what does that tell us? Are they playing catch-up, or is something else driving that acceleration, maybe specific sectors?
That's the interesting question, isn't it? How do these different economies with their own structures adapt to these global digital shifts at, different speeds. We also see smaller but significant markets like Luxembourg growing steadily too.
12.1% KGR for Luxembourg, reaching over 2.7 billion. It's
Yeah.
certainly not uniform growth across the continent.
Not at all.
Okay, now, let's talk Asia Pacific, APAC. Because the data suggests, well, here's where it gets really interesting in terms of speed. One of the fastest growing regions.
Oh, definitely. The overall APAC numbers really highlight that. The region's set to climb from just under 16 billion in 2021
15.7 to 4 billion.
all the way up to over 79 billion by 2033. That's a CAGR of over 14.4%. That's a significant acceleration.
14.402%. Wow. That reflects massive digital uptake.
Immense transformation, yeah.
And within APAC, China's the giant, right? Projected to hit around 27 billion by 2033.
27 billion, yeah, with a strong 14.1% CAGR. And Japan's also a major player, expected to reach over 12 billion.
12.273 billion for Japan.
But, what really jumps out in APAC is India. The report calls its growth exceptional.
Okay.
We're talking a CAGR of over 16.2%.
16.293. That's huge.
It really is. It's projected to reach over $15.5 billion by 2033. This incredible speed in India probably comes from its massive and increasingly digital-first consumer base.
Right, and mobile adoption.
Exactly. A rapid adoption of mobile CRM, maybe even leapfrogging some of the older IT infrastructure.
Right.
And we also see really healthy growth across other places like Australia, almost 15% CAGR, Singapore, over 15.2%, Southeast Asia as a whole, nearly 14%.
So it's broad-based growth across a really diverse region. The scale there is just immense.
Absolutely. The potential impact is enormous.
Okay, changing continents again. Let's head down to South America, another region showing some pretty dynamic growth.
Yeah, South America is moving quickly, too, from about $3.5 billion in 2021.
3.561 billion.
It's projected to hit over 18 billion by 2033. That's a CAGR of over 14.6%. Another really strong growth area.
14.611%, and leading the charge there, I assume, is Brazil.
Unsurprisingly, yes. Brazil is expected to command over 8 billion of that market by 2033.
8.049 billion.
But what's quite striking here, again, looking at the CAGRs, are Argentina and Colombia.
Oh.
Their growth rates are almost identical and really high, both over 15.2%.
Wow. Argentina at 15.226 and Colombia at 15.233. That's incredibly close.
It really is. It suggests there might be some common, powerful trends sweeping across parts of the continent, maybe similar economic factors, or perhaps shared challenges in customer engagement that CRM is perfectly positioned to solve there.
Fascinating. Okay, last stop on our regional tour. The Middle East and Africa. We're grouping them, but they do have their own distinct stories.
They do. Let's start with the Middle East. It's projected to grow from just under 2 billion in 2021
1.992 billion
to over 10 billion by 2033. That's another very high CAGR, over 14.7%.
14.705. Impressive. Any standouts there?
Well, the UAE really stands out. Its CAGR is particularly strong, almost 16%.
15.869% for the UAE.
And Saudi Arabia is also set for significant growth, projected to reach over 3 billion by 2033. This might be linked to, rapid economic diversification efforts and those huge investments in smart cities we hear about.
Driving demand for advanced customer tools. Makes sense.
Exactly.
And then Africa.
Africa's CRM market is climbing too, from just over 2.2 billion in 2021.
2.294 billion.
It's heading towards just over 10 billion by 2033. The CAGR there is closer to 13%.
12.908%.
Yeah.
Still very solid double-digit growth.
Absolutely. And the key players expected by 2033 are Nigeria and South Africa, both projected to exceed $4 billion.
Nigeria at 4.364 billion, South Africa at 4.133 billion.
Yeah.
And both with strong CAGRs themselves.
That's right. Significant growth across the continent.
Okay. Wow. That's a lot of numbers, a lot of regions.
Yeah.
After hearing all that, what does it all mean? What's the big takeaway for you, our listeners, sitting there trying to process this?
Well, I think the overarching conclusion from all this cognitive market research data is pretty clear, actually.
Yeah.
The CRM market is just set for really rapid and seemingly sustained growth everywhere, every major region.
Okay.
And this growth isn't just happening by chance. It's fundamentally being driven by, I'd say, two big intertwined forces.
Which?
First, widespread technological advancements. Things like cloud, mobile, AI becoming more integrated. And second, this much sharper focus businesses have now on understanding and, frankly, serving their customers better.
Right, which fuels digital transformation.
Exactly. It all ties together, driving these big digital transformation projects across nearly every industry you can think of.
So two key trends seem to emerge then.
I think so. First, you see these emerging markets, places like India, South America, the Middle East, showing some of the absolute fastest growth rates. That highlights huge future potential as they digitize rapidly.
Right, the speed is incredible there.
But second, you still have the established economies, North America, Europe, major Asian markets like China and Japan, continuing to dominate in absolute size. They hold the biggest slices of the pie and act as anchors for this global expansion.
Speed versus size in a way.
Sort of, yeah. And understanding both those dynamics, I think, is really vital for anyone interested in business and technology, or just in how companies are, fundamentally changing how they connect with us as customers.
That's a great summary. And maybe a final thought for you listening. As you go about your day, clicking online, maybe calling customer service, consider this. In a world that's just getting more and more digital, how might this massive CRM growth actually reshape your own experiences as a customer in the coming years?
Yeah, will it feel more personalized, more efficient, maybe more intrusive?
Exactly. Something to think about.
And I think the insights we've walked through today, all grounded in that cognitive market research data, they really underscore that this isn't just about business metrics or some niche software. Understanding customer relationships and the tech behind it is becoming, well, foundational to our digital society. It influences so much of our interaction.
So pay attention to how companies are using tech to talk to you.
Absolutely, because as this deep dive shows, it's only going to become more central to, well, everything.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to really get into the essential insights on topics profoundly shaping our world. And today, we're taking that deep dive into the customer relationship management industry. CRM, this isn't just about like software packages. It's really about understanding how businesses understand and engage you, the customer, and how critical data's become and all that.
Exactly. We're talking about a sector that's, well, it's truly revolutionizing how businesses connect with their customers and how they leverage data for, strategic growth. It's the engine behind so much of the personalized communication and service you probably experience every day.
Right. So our mission today is to unpack the market dynamics shaping this crucial industry. We're pulling out the most important insights from the sources you've given us. We'll look at the key drivers pushing it forward, examine the things holding it back a bit, the restraints, and explore some of the really fascinating emerging trends shaping its future. Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with what's propelling the CRM market forward. I think the foundation really, it lies in this rising demand for customized customer experiences. Businesses are increasingly turning to CRM systems because, well, they want to tailor their marketing, their sales, their support efforts directly to your unique needs as an individual. Our sources really highlight that this level of personalization isn't just like a nice to have anymore. It's become a real strategic advantage.
Mm-hmm. And what's fascinating there is how it becomes strategic. It's not just about responding when you have an issue. A CRM, when it's powered by good data, it lets businesses sort of predict your needs. They can offer solutions or relevant info even before you realize you have a question. It fundamentally shifts the whole dynamic, from reactive service to proactive engagement.
Ah, okay. Proactive.
Which, at the end of the day, boosts satisfaction and long-term retention.
That proactive approach sounds powerful. And building on that, we're seeing, well, an equally powerful force in the increasing adoption of cloud-based CRM solutions. These platforms, they offer incredible scalability, cost efficiency, and they're easier to get up and running.
Yeah, and this isn't just a tech upgrade. It's more like a structural shift, really, in how customer relationships are managed in real time. Cloud-based systems, essentially software as a service or SaaS applications, programs you access over the internet, like lots of tools you use daily. They're gaining ground super rapidly. They offer flexibility, mobile accessibility, seamless integration, which makes them really attractive for pretty much organizations of all sizes. Especially now, right, in this era of remote and hybrid work.
That flexibility, that agility you mentioned, that's key. And tying into that, there's this growing emphasis on data-driven decision-making. I mean, it's everywhere now. Modern CRM systems, they pull together just massive volumes of customer data. Then they transform it into actionable insights through, analytics and reporting tools. And these insights are crucial for everything, improving marketing campaigns, fine-tuning operations, and, boosting revenue.
And if you connect this to the bigger picture, As data becomes really central to basically every strategic plan, CRM is truly emerging as an indispensable part of organizational infrastructure. It's not just a sales tool anymore. It's kind of like the central nervous system. It ensures every department, marketing, support, product development, they're all working off the same up-to-date customer information.
Okay, it sounds like this unstoppable force. But like any powerful engine, there are going to be friction points, right? Some hurdles. So let's pivot a bit. Let's talk about the key restraints limiting CRM growth. One significant barrier is definitely the high cost and, frankly, the complexity of getting a CRM system implemented. Deploying an enterprise-grade CRM, it often requires a pretty significant upfront investment, specialized technical expertise, and it can be really time-consuming to integrate with all the systems a company already has.
That's absolutely right. And for small and mid-sized businesses, SMBs, these challenges can be particularly daunting. The initial cost can be tough to justify, even if the long-term benefits seem clear. And that technical hurdle, it often means bringing in external consultants, which just adds to the expense and complexity.
Yeah, I can see that. Then there are the ever-present data privacy and security concerns. That's huge because CRMs hold incredibly sensitive customer data. The risks of data breaches or compliance failures, they're substantial. Companies have to navigate really stringent regulations like GDPR over in Europe and CCPA in California. These are big, comprehensive data protection laws.
And any misstep there can result in severe legal penalties, not to mention significant reputational damage. It forces companies to make data security a top priority, not just for compliance, but really for maintaining customer trust. That's incredibly hard to rebuild once it's lost. So true. And finally, there's the human element. User adoption and internal change management. Because even the most advanced, feature-rich CRM system can fall short if employees are resistant to using the new tools, especially if the interface feels unfamiliar or disrupts the workflows they're used to. So what's the first step a company should take, like when they know their team might be a bit wary of this new tech?
That's a crucial question, really, because what's clear is just installing the software isn't enough. Not even close. It's about guiding your team through a pretty significant shift in their daily work. So the first step, I'd say it's transparent communication about why the change is happening and, crucially, how it will benefit them personally. Then that needs to be followed by robust, tailored training and really important ongoing support. Without proper change management strategies, clear onboarding, the system just won't get used properly. Its potential is wasted. Makes sense. Okay, now here's where, for me at least, it gets really interesting. The emerging trends in the CRM landscape.
Yeah.
The first one is the deep integration of AI and predictive analytics. We're seeing these intelligent systems. They feature AI-powered chatbots, sentiment analysis, which understands the emotion behind customer message, and these sophisticated lead scoring mechanisms that automatically rank potential customers based on how likely they are to buy.
Right. These intelligent tools, they automate a lot of the repetitive tasks, but more importantly, they surface critical customer insights. They really make the platforms more intelligent and proactive. And predictive analytics takes it another step further, helping organizations forecast customer behavior, identify clients who might be at risk of leaving, even target new opportunities before they fully emerge. It's really turning data into, foresight.
Wow, okay. From reacting to predicting. That's powerful. And connecting with customers wherever they are, literally, that's another trend. The critical rise of mobile CRM and omni-channel engagement. Companies are investing heavily in mobile accessible CRM tools, right, to empower sales and support teams who are often out and about, on move.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is how that connects directly to omnichannel communication. Businesses are now able to seamlessly manage emails, calls, social media interactions, chat messages, all from within that same CRM platform.
So it's all in one place.
Pretty much. The goal is ensuring a consistent, uninterrupted customer experience across every touch point, digital or human. Doesn't matter how the customer chooses to interact. It's about meeting you where you are.
Okay, meeting you where you are. I like that. And finally, a very exciting development, the rise of industry-specific CRM solutions. These are tailored solutions designed for the nuanced needs of different verticals, specific industries like healthcare, finance, real estate. So no more one-size-fits-all approach.
Yeah, this development is key because these specialized systems address sector-specific compliance rules, unique workflow requirements, very specific reporting needs, things a generic system might struggle with. It really extends CRM adoption into segments that were maybe underserved before, segments that found generic solutions just weren't quite right, which effectively expands the entire market. So To kind of synthesize what we've discussed, it's really clear that businesses are increasingly prioritizing customer intelligence, agility, and personalization. And because of this, the CRM market is definitely expected to keep expanding, having a truly transformative impact across pretty much every industry sector, which I think raises an important question.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe something for you, the listener, to consider. Think about how this evolution of CRM isn't just changing how businesses sell to you, but how it's fundamentally reshaping the very idea of what a customer relationship even is. It seems to be blurring the lines between, individual personal interaction and this sort of large-scale data-driven prediction. What does all that mean for the future of personal connection in an increasingly digital world? Something to think about.